isang paniniwala, sa Diyos nagtitiwala. 91.9 Bright FM, 91.9 Friends tayo, enjoy life. Friends tayo, enjoy bright. Friends tayo, enjoy bright. Friends tayo, enjoy life. Friends tayo, enjoy life. Friends tayo, enjoy bright. Friends tayo, Bright FM. Friends tayo, sa 91.9 Friends tayo, 91.9 Bright FM, 91.9 Friends tayo, 91.9 Bright FM, 91.9 Bright FM. Friends tayo.
To all the ladies, join us here at It's a Girl Thing. And now, here are our girls.
Maya po oras kakaluguran na makiramdam, karing-karelang radyo at manalbeking kakatamong online live streaming. Aldo Sabado, tara na't may pagkwentuhang pasibayo keniking radyo ning Archdiocese ning San Fernando, Pampanga, DWBL 91.9 Bright FM. Pisabihan tamo ing miayaliwang bagay apeka relate laring babay, yapin ni po ing It's a Girl Thing. At kaya bayo po EV one and only solo flight ko po keniking studio, pero po tambagya po at intampong akayabe via Zoom. Napanigurado, miss you, kalupa ko at kilalang kilala yun po. Ngani po bayo tamo umpisa ning kaya katamong kwentuhan. Syempre po balikan tayo pa po yung maging episode tamo recently. Last week po kasi alita may kapag-live in preparation for our 10th anniversary. Uling mika aliwa tampong programa last week. But last episode, ang naging kwentuhan po natin ay tungkol sa mga lupain. Lupain po. For our State of Mind episode, nakasama po natin si Miss Melanie Liang, isang licensed broker at medyo matagal na rin po nung in-invite natin siya. And finally, nakasama po natin siya sa ating huling kwentuhan. At talaga namang ang dami nating natutunan. Definitely ako po personally, ang dami kong natutunan sa naging kwentuhan. Una sa lahat, bago ka bumili ng property, kailangan kilala mo muna ang iyong sarili. Hindi po siya ganun ka-deep na kilala mo ang sarili mo. But of course, kailangan alam mo kung ano na yung mga kailangan mo sa buhay. If need mo na ba yung pag-purchase ng property. At syempre, ang isa po sa mga tanong dyan ay kaya ba ng bulsa? Kailangan po we have the capacity para masustain at makayanan talaga ang pagbili ng isang property. Kaya mahalaga po talaga ang financial planning, pre-evaluating at syempre disiplina. Hanapin pong Miss Melanie, kailangan mo pa rin talaga maghigpit ng sinturon. Balang po first time kayo dimdamit ang linya ngay na, wapen na ako. Kailangan mo talagang puwersa na madisiplina yung sarili mo. Patse ating kambabayaran. Lalo na nung real estate ay taseli mo. Kasi dapat po kahit lakasan ng loob yan, dapat may plano ka pa rin. At isa po sa mga practical tips na naibigay ni Miss Melanie ay mag-invest sa pre-selling properties habang mas mura pa. Kaba po ka nung alila pa makanta ka, solid develop itang area or itang subdivision na pikukwanan nyo. Saliwan nyo na po. Kabang atsuya pa po kitang pre-selling state na. At para naman daw po sa mga investors, siguraduhin na licensed brokers o PRC accredited agents ang mga kausap para makasiguro na alam nila ang mga proseso at yung mga kumbaga in and out po na datang gagawan po tang ating tampapatsya kapapil o lupain. Siyempre kailangan baluta mo na sigurado and secured tamo uling hadapin po naman basta-basta yung perang lulwal pa siya atin tamong purchase sa makanyan. At syempre, we all know na dapat protektado po yung ega-na-gana pag makanyang processes. At nung kalupa ko po, if feeling nyo hindi pa kayo ganon ka ready ngayon na isingit yung ganong purchase sa ating buhay. Ang mahalaga daw po ay may goal ka. Meron kang dream. Kumbaga, meron ka na naidodrawing sa isip mo na, ay, makanini yung buri ko. Makanini yung plano ko. Kasi, kagaya po na na-share na kwento ni Miss Melanie, nagumpisa siya sa gusto na niyang bumukod. And then nag-rent. And finally ngayon, 6 years na po ata under her name yung bahay. Although sabi nga niya, hanggang maka-amortize siya pang yan, at least under her name na. So it's really an achievement. Congrats po to Miss Melanie. And yun nga po, it always starts with the dream. And then you plan. And of course, you have to work and pray for it. Kasi kung para sa'yo, God will surely lead you there. At syempre, isingin nyo po dun sa steps na yon ang consultation. So for consultation, you can always reach out to Miss Melanie and her team at M. Liang Realty. Yun po yung Facebook page nila, m.liang Realty. Or pwede nyo po silang bisitahin sa Plaza Christina Building. Kung hindi po kayo familiar doon, yun po yung building sa tabi ng Jumbo Genera sa intersection, or pwede ko pong, kumbaga nung iba ko po Jollibee intersection, dalakit ko po lalam na ning flyover, aki iya po itang building, chula po second floor, karelay po kano yung masalang diling signage ka rin. So again, we thank Miss Melanie Liang for gracing us here sa studio, uling malayo po soon. Metong na ako po ka rin maging kliyente. But today po, on a different note, yung kakatampong kwentuhan, syempre value naman po, metong ko ka rin peka target audience na nining kakatamong topic, ne? And kung atatandanan nyo pa po, ne, isa sa mga nakalakihan nating mga patalastas ay yung mga may brand X at brand Y. Kung sabon yan, lagi nilang pinapakita kung alin ang mas mabango, mas sulit, mas effective. At napaisip po ako, parang ganyan din tayo sa totoong buhay, di ba? May version ng sarili natin na pang brand. Brand. Yung kumbaga parang prim and proper ka sa office, curated yung Instagram feed mo, o yung laging may best foot forward ka. Tapos meron din naman po yung mga tinatawag nating totoong tayo. Yung kumbaga real version of ourselves. Yung tipong napapagod ka, nagbe-breakdown ka, yung kumakain ka ng noodles sa 10 oras ng gabi, wala pong pinipiling oras, lalo na kapag nagsistress eating tayo. At yung bang nagre-reklamo sa GC, parang medyo yung mga natamaan po dyan. Pero kung ganun po, ibig sabihin, welcome kayo sa episode na to because we will be talking about brand and being. Kasi guys, hindi naman po masamang magkaroon ng brand, lalo na sa ating mga career. Pero I think the challenge here is, paano nga ba tayo makakapag-project ng maayos at ng maganda habang hindi nawawala yung tunay na tayo? Yan ang ating adulting dilemma ngayon. At alam nyo naman po kung sino yung pinakalagi nating tinatawagan at maaasahan sa ganyang usapan. Alam nyo na yan, kahit nabasa nyo po siguro sa caption kung sino, pero we have with us today, via Zoom na po ulit, our girl boss goals, Miss Toni. Hello, Miss Toni.
Kumusta? Thanks for having me today.
Miss Dako po. Although ati kuri po nga mi Miss Ngeniking siping ko, likuan na ako po. Pero, baloy naman po yan, itulak na ka talaga. Kaya, Miss Toni, how have you been? Kabalik niyo po Ken, King Dubai? Dubai nga po ba? Gusto po ba?
So back in Dubai, may kapag masantingit ang last ming vacation kasi medyo malwat yan. We were in the Philippines like for 81 days or so. Nakapunta kami Pampanga, Baguio, Pangasinan, then Davao, Bukidnon, Makata. So may kapag reconnect la rin anak kareng kay.
Yeah.
Actually, marakali de lang kay reflection ng vacation mi kasi normally 1 week kami makauli. So similar to what you say, tang brand tang difference between branding and identity. So patya 1 week ka mo kasing makauli, akaki mo itang branding
Yeah,
pero patya may ka malwat na ka makauli, you actually see the real truth. What is really happening. And then you realize, I thought this was the case. Ali pala, makanini pala. So there was a lot of reflection. And I think at least the kids were able to practice Kapampangan, Tagalog, Bisaya.
Ang dito mo po. At saka, kaburi ko naman po na even kimeging vacation nyo, iki na ining topic tamo. Talaga namang, kumbaga, connect tayo ka rin. At for sure, marakal ko po damdamang kwento kaya kayo. And sana po abay ka rin itang Kadayawan Festival. Nga po ba yung pintalan nyo na minuli ko po king hometown na ning husband yo?
Yeah, Davao City celebrates Kadayawan. Sakto, August yan. Usually middle of August, around 17, 18 mga ta. Tapos you see all the different tribes, Muslim tribes, come to Davao. They showcase their lifestyle. Renkuboda, Dembaleda, ating magsa park ka rin, which is not extremely big, but it's big enough to host like kubuda, as in itang biyeda talaga, pwede kang mukyat keng bale, keng kubo, kay bata, makaniniya. Tas sakit mo, liwa-liwang materials pa mo rin, kasi liwa, they live near the waters, liwa, they live near Maracal-Nyog or Maracal-Kawayan, and then they change the materials they use for their house based on what's readily available.
Wow.
Magaling talaga. Ingenuity ng Filipinos.
Miss Toni, I'm so glad to hear na talagang asuli iya po maging vacation nyo keni kim Pilipinas. Sa tali kayo mo keni kim Pampanga may apunta na. Naka po karakal pa apuntalan. And of course, ako po personally, I'm so glad to have met your husband and your children in flesh. Nayali lang po through your stories po ta maka-zoom tamo. But I've seen them here and sana po enjoy din rin talaga yung karelang maging bakasyon keni kim Pilipinas. And Miss Toni, and kakaluguran, bago po tayo magpatuloy, I would just like to take this special moment to share something to all of you. This is something close to our hearts because last Sunday po, we just celebrated our 10th anniversary here at Bright FM. And our program, It's a Girl Thing, received a certificate of recognition. At syempre, hindi lang po ito para sa aming mga host, hindi lang po sa amin ni Ma'am Jo, because this honor belongs to all of us. Our inspiring guests who share their stories and expertise, just like Miss Toni, ne po, kalupan na ning paneyo pong pa mag-guest kaya ni kaya katamo king It's a Girl Thing. And of course, our friends who support us, deta pong alang sawang, mamye feedback da balang makapanalbe or makapakiramdam la kening programa tamo. And of course, who would forget our kakaluguran, our dearest viewers and listeners who journey with us every episode. Nung alako po, alayo po ing It's a Girl Thing. And of course, eke po pwede kalanguan to Ma'am Jo. Shoutout sa'yo kahit iniwan mo ako dito. Thank you po for guiding me, for giving me the space to grow here and for trusting me to shine in my own way. Kalupa na po nga yung ngeni. Sabi ko, ay kakarug ko, ako mundili. Ali, kaya mo yan, Nana. So, kakayanin para kay Ma'am Jo. And so, I realize ko mo po na sobrang dagulabage itang ating kang abe na talagang susuporta ang pong maniwala kaya ka. So, it's a girl thing po na. And Miss Toni, kakaluguran, bago po ako maging emotional, maraming salamat po. This recognition is really a celebration of our growing community. Dahil nga pong akakayabe tamong guest, aluluklok Kenny. Sobrang dagol ko po pa sa salamat kasi aliyam po Kenny King Radyo. But even personally, ito pong makakilala kong aliwang tao, makapag-create connection. Super duper thankful po for that. And I feel really blessed. Aliyam mo po Kenning certificate Tini. Pero itong mismong connection tamo as girls, as women, as empowered women. Dakal as salamat. Kaya ngeni po, eke po pwedeng kalingwang panagkating kaya katamong programa. Samahan niyo po kami sa isa na namang oras ng kwentuhan at makabuluhang usapan. Kung may mga gusto po kayong i-share na kwento o gustong itanong, huwag mahihiyang mag-comment sa ating live. Kaya please, huwag niyo pong kakalimutan mag-like, follow, share, and subscribe sa ating social media platforms. Our YouTube channel channel is ASF Radio Station 91.9 FM or www.youtube.com/c/ASF Radio Station 919 FM. At syempre po yung Malagwandiling Pantunan, the most convenient way to watch us is through our Facebook page, Archdiocese of San Fernando Radio Station 91.9 Bright FM, or go to www.facebook.com/official.asfradio. You may also follow us on our Twitter or X account at radio_ASF. Ang Instagram account na naman po at ASF Radios. You can also support our radio station by your advertisements. You may send in your inquiries at asf.radio.mktg@gmail.com or contact 0949-609-5478. And should you wish to show your love and support through financial donations, our donation platforms are shown on the screen. You may send through the GCash account number 0905-319-4871 under the name Joseph Mary Bacay. Dakal pong dakal as salamat. And Miss Toni, bayud ako po, bulabugan ka rin gang kutang kupot. Ne? Pay naman tayo mo pong bagya at mas panamdaman de po yung kakatamong kwentuhan on Adulting to One, Brand and Being. Palabasan tala pampuring mapila na paganaka at pakiramdaman ing metong hakanta. Ali kayo po mama ko, magbalik ya ing. It's a girl thing!
Itamong Kristyano, mibibiyeta mo lalam ning tanda ning krus. Iti metong ya karing dakal paganaka ning kapiestana ning kapagmososyan balang September 14. Ing kapiestana ning tagumpena ning krus. Iting kafiestan pagmasosyano ring adwang anibersaryo. Mumuna, ing pangatalaga ning pisamban king Jerusalem, ape patalakad ng Konstantino, king lugal nung nuya mi paku at mikutkut Jesus. Ing kadwa, yapin niya ing anibersaryo ning pangayakit ning Emperatriz si Santa Elena king Cruz ning Ginu. Iting kasalukuyan a panahon, kikilalanan tamo ing misteryo ning krus ket king yato, uling kapamilatanan iti, yatad ng Jesus ke katamo ing kapatawaran at biye. Manano na sanang ding krus sa pupusanan tamo, king ke katamong pamibiyebye, maging dalan la naman, ban misa naldo, mirastamo mo naman king ligaya. Ing radyo ning Arkidiocese ning San Fernando, Pampanga, DWBL 91.9 Bright FM, kayan tabi taya naman king kapigaganakan king kapiesta na ning tagumpe na ning Banal a Cruz.
At magbalik ya po it's a girl thing, kaya bayo pamuran po V, and we have with us via Zoom Miss Toni for our topic, Adulting 201, Brand and Being. Nanding kaya po babanggitan ng salitang branding po. Ta makikurious no po ring tao na ano po waring buri kung sabyan ketang brand. Aliya mo po brand ka rin sa saliwan taking grocery or brand ring malan tamo na. Pero kaya ni po pisabyan tamo yung branding tamo as a person, and nanuya ba yung pamiyaliwa na ni taking identity. Kaya syempre po, muna akong dilim bulabugan kaya ni Miss Toni. Miss Toni, how do you see the difference po between branding and identity, especially personal branding and personal identity?
Actually, dapat pareho lamo.
Oh.
However, in most circumstances, so identity is who you are, right? That's what you decided to do. For example, I decided if I have an opinion and I believe in something, I will speak about it, right? So that's my identity. I'm an outspoken person.
Yes.
In branding ko is how others see me. So for example, within my niche, so my husband, my kids, if I see that my son behaves in a certain way, kaburitang behavior na, I will call it immediately. And I will say, I feel that it's my responsibility to correct him because I know better, right? And I'm a parent.
Yes.
So maybe depending on which setting you operate, then your branding comes in. For example, you're in the office and you have like 10 people reporting to you. And I see some sabihan ko. So my identity is that I'm outspoken. And if I believe something has to be corrected, I will make sure that my opinion is heard. If you are in the corporate world, your branding and send an yes. Off for the next meeting set before I speak to him or her. So not in front of maybe his manager, not in front of my manager, not in front of the other peers or colleagues. I'll take him aside to my office and I'll speak to him. So if you can see, it should be exactly the same. So however, the way you operate and depending on the environment you're in may change your approach. Okay. But so it doesn't mean that I'm spoken at home and then in the office I'm not. That's not true at all. It's just maybe also like the language also plays a part. So for example, if I'm more comfortable to speaking Tagalog and my kids and my family speak in Tagalog, then I can actually say what I want to say. Whereas in English, I'm in the office and I have to speak the corporate speak. Then maybe the way and the approach by how I say it would be different. That is branding. But there should be a congruence there. So you don't, like in the ideal setting, there should be. But as we can see, in a lot of instances, what people show in social media and what they actually do in life are two different things, which is not healthy. So, for example, if I speak to you and I spend some time with you, I mean, the cleaner in my office and the managing director in my office will say exactly the same observation of me because I don't operate by other people's measure. I am that who I am is the best version of myself. And if you're not happy with it, I cannot do anything better than that because I'm already doing my best. Now, this is me at almost 50, right? So I'm kind of like 5 years away from 50 years old. This isn't me when I was 18. When I was 18, I didn't really know, ano ba yung brand identity ko? Who am I? Am I outspoken, introverted? Am I opinionated? Am I not opinionated? What kind of words do I use? How do I treat people? It's a journey. But once a certain age, hopefully, although this is not true I think 90% of adults walk around in adult clothes, but they're actually children, right?
Yes.
So They don't grow up. They still lean on their parents to give them everything that they need. So they're just in adult clothes, but they're actually still 2 years old. So now we should allow ourselves to grow up by going through difficulties. So when, as a parent, that's an important lesson I learned. I'm not a perfect parent. My kids are just teenagers, so I'm still learning the rope, but I'm trying to do my best. I make mistakes, as with every parent. But the one thing I realize is that you need to make sure your kids clean up after themselves. Because if you don't want them to clean up after themselves, they never really actually grow up, because they learn that someone else is going to clean up their mess.
Yes.
And it's not healthy. And when you do that for them, they balada kasi pache may kalat la ating maglinis. So magkalat na lamang magkalat. They never grow up. It's like you have a toddler in adult clothes all the time. So the one important thing we parents need to make sure we do, and if your parents still treat you as a child, please do yourself a favor and adult. Be an adult. Tell your parents, Mom, Dad, I'm an adult. I can do this on my own. Allow me to get the life skills I need to survive on my own when you're no longer there. And all of that forms part of your identity, which then has to be congruent to your branding. So, di ba marakal magsabi na a lot of the millennials come to the office and they expect they will make a change within 7 days. And if in another week they don't make a change, they quit the job. Kasi it boils down to how we were brought up or how we accepted the parenting of our parents. If we allowed to be babied, we will just toddlers in adult clothes. But if we go out there, so for example, the first time I left our household where I come from, I left at the age of 22. So I manager for Robinsons, and I was assigned to Star Mills as a briefing deployment before I moved to there's a Balebago branch in Angeles for Star Mills.
Yes,
into that one for the meantime. Baka tabla mo practice kaya pabala mo OJT before I go on to. So I was like 22 years old at that time. And the first thing I did is move out of my parents' house. I packed one small bag, brought all of my shoes, my belts, that's very important, kapangpangan, you need to look. And I found that I rented a very small room. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't convenient, although quite near, like, sakay ko mong misa na tuna ako Robinsons. I had to cook on my own. I had to go through difficulties of taking the public transport. Tapos minsan pa na ako nga sakin. So I had to organize like a tricycle driver to take me from the rental apartment to the mall. And all of that, difficulty, challenges, nuances of adulting, became part of my identity because it's the same skills I used at the age of 22. I was still 22 when I actually came to Dubai. I was 23, when I came to Dubai. So a year after, I had to do exactly the same thing of moving out of my parents' house and living on my own in Dubai. So just a bigger scale. So the skills I learned moving out of our house, although it was still in Pampanga where I moved to, it's exactly the same skills I used when I moved to Dubai on my own. Still with a small suitcase, but a lot of dreams. So my message is every difficulty you go through, every challenge you accept, every hurdle you put yourself through becomes part of who you are. So bala mo kaya ka Tetris, itang you add this,
yes,
that, and then you keep adding, and then at some point you realize all these Tetris blocks actually form part of who you become.
And Miss Toni, Akayang kumupunin na sabi upin na branding and your identity should be, kumbaga, aligned. Like, alino man po dapat talaga different from each other. Like, nung nampapakit mo. So, magumpisa tayo po king identity. I love how you put it na ding parents factor la po in building their child's identity. Nung makanande pong paragulan, kilala niya yung sarili na. Kasi ayupi po na, I think guilty kami ring mag-adulting ngeni na we are just children in adults' clothes. Kaya po takay ito balabri mo. Baby ko pa ali ko pa dapat araranasan ng makanina. But ing edad me in number, it's really patas na yung patas. Pero karin mo akayan na karetang dadalanan tamo rin from nung makanano tamo kumbaga may mold nung makananda ka tampong peragulan din parents tamo, potang makakatalakad na ka on your own feet, karin may mas abuuing identity mo. And through those hurdles, ayupin po na rin challenges na part na naman talaga ng biyata mo, potang abela patong-patong la, like Tetris blocks na po, mas mabubuuya yung identity mo. And dapat aliyam milalawat ka rin ng branding mo. Kasi I realize ko mo rin po na karing share yo po, potang inaliwa may kumbaga itang branding mo, karing aliwa tao. Mas afil da po pag aliya genuine. Balo pag aliya aligned to your true self. Na Miss Toni. Makantaya po ing datang na. Bala mo itang fake memo. Although syempre ito yung pong branding talaga na i-build me kasi kailangan makaninida kang akit din tao. Pero po talaga malawat yung identity mo na pong kasakit i-sustain. Kung mag-aali may panghawakan for a very long period of time.
I think itang consistency masakit ya pa siya ali ikay talaga ita. And the unfortunate thing is, I think this is the reason why yung mga Nepo babies did so well. Like, people are okay with hyper-reality. For a normal government employee to be taking vacations on very expensive yachts and Learjet 45s and air charter travel back to back. A government employee cannot even dream of buying an Hermes bag until they retire.
True.
That is if they save $100 a year from age 25 until the age 65 at the rate of 12%, maybe they'll have $1,100,000 dirhams or whatever in any currency. But then would you buy a bag for that matter, for that amount, if it's taken you 40 years to save up for it? So parang if you think about it, people are like, nowadays, we love hyper realities. And this is also the reason why my feed so we love to travel, right? We travel a lot.
Yes.
But you would never see that in any of our social media feed because it's not anyone's business, right? To come with you. But people are so like, for me it's interesting, like I watch this and I'm like, how can they afford that? And they go on this and they buy that and they have this and they like that ride alone can feed like maybe 100 people in a slum in the Philippines, for example. But people watch that, they're very interested to see hyper reality and things that are impossible. If they were done in an honest way, it's not possible to do that, right? Unless you were brought up, if you were born somewhere else, like my kids are. So you were born in the UAE, you were raised in the UAE, you went to schooling here. It doesn't mean you can subscribe to that lifestyle.
Yes, opo.
Because you can't.
Totoo po ito. Very timely
And I
po
think-
yung sinabi.
But di ba itang, I'm not gonna say the brand name, but I always say itang pamagkape ken luwal or pamagbobati ken luwal. I also don't subscribe to that lifestyle kasi it's not healthy. Number one, we have at the moment so much obesity in the Philippines because of the sugar drinks.
Opo.
that money can go to groceries instead.
Mm.
Self-sacrifice kaya sarili mo na bisa akong magkape, bisa akong tumambay kaning beautiful area so I can look cool. It doesn't pan to an adulted lifestyle because an adult will say, na ako mo minom kape, sali kung may itong kilong tilapia.
Wala mo po yung maging kwentuhan ketang about real estate. Hanapin po Miss Melanie na nung agyo mo nang makasalikang detang lati-lating bagay na pero ring presyo na naman medyo makamala. Nariring gadgets. Teme mo ilele na ita para kiring aliwang bagay. Kalupa na po ng real estate. Kasi po kaya tinang halos ka presyuhan ring the down payment. So I think po na king pa mag-adulting, it's really knowing your priorities, choosing nano itang mas makain na value, and it all boils down king identity mo nung makanano meng akakit or binuuing sarili mo nung nanuya po itang mas valuable para kaya kane. Ito po makanita.
Right. And also, like, if you haven't built your identity, what kind of identity do you want to have? Do you want to be known as an independent person? Actually, the one thing that will define whether you will have integrity and dignity when you retire is if you save money. If you save money, you don't have to beg friends, family for money right?
Opo, dignity. Yes.
So you're very, pila na ka kasi?
27 po. Malaut-laut ko pa po.
Have at least 38 years if you want.
38. Sige po, noted yung 38 years.
So you have ages. I would give anything to be this age again. But yeah, it's so enjoy this really good age where your knees are not yet painful and you can still stay up night, after 1 a.m. and not have a headache the following day. So at that age, you may not be thinking, how am I gonna support myself at the age of 65?
Mm-mm.
Actually, the only thing that's certain if you live up to that age is that at some point you will have to retire.
Mm-mm.
And when you retire, means your income actually goes away. And if I ask you now, will you choose the identity of being someone who saves money or the brand of someone who spends all the money she has but not have anything during retirement? Because those are two different things. So for example, I choose to live within my means now because I'd like to have dignity when I retire. I'm not asking for the most lavish retirement life. No, actually, I'm planning to just have an off-grid life. No water, no electricity. I have, a vegetable patch, maybe some chicken. So I don't need to ask my kids for money. In dream ko mo naman is to be self-sufficient.
Mm-mm.
But if I have to align my branding towards that. Because if I'm saying I want to have dignity when I retire and have money so that I don't have to beg my kids for money, and then today I choose to go to an expensive coffee shop knowing I can't afford it because it's part of my brand or my mask, then you have a dichotomy within yourself na makaliwalang tao reto.
Okay.
The person who wants to live for a dignified retired life is that the person who spends money now that they cannot have or don't have.
Mm-hmm.
You must have influence, Keta, kasi otherwise, one thing will suffer. But the reality is, only you will suffer if you don't get that right. You want to achieve something, but you will sacrifice. Ay, marine ako kasi may nagkatlang may kape, marine ako po ta sabihan tayo. Toni talaga.
Kay Gia.
KJ yung masyado eh, bisan tugi. No, actually, in my office, pache, ikit da akong ating tatal ng kape. They know someone bought it for me.
Really?
Kasi I would spend the money, sali na ako mong apples and bananas and oranges and put it in the reception or put it in the pantry for the same amount of money. Because it's not expensive, no? So, kesa keng magmetong kong kape. It's just that my identity is like that. Now, I'm not judging you have so much money. So you want to be frivolous? That's your call. But I'm talking to fresh graduates who are still trying to save money. And one of the discussions I was having with my nieces and nephews, when I was growing up, I was fortunate enough that my parents supported me through school. And I was working enough that because I had a vision that I wanted to have, and alin naman luxurious life, but just enough to get through that. You know, we have a lifestyle that's maintainable, sustainable, and will to at some point retire with dignity because we have some saved, right? I'm not shooting for the stars. It's just a healthy balance. So we graduated well. You know, we were able to, with God's help, work through different jobs, manage, go up the corporate ladder, save a little bit here and there as we go through. So we were taught how to go to school so that we can earn money. The big in my generation was we learned how to make money, but we were not taught how to save or invest it. We had to learn. Yeah. So I now have nieces and nephews, and I'm telling them, you have 7,000 pesos left over every month, or 7,000 you can budget on the side. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Buy a house. Because no one told me this when I was young. Okay. So in terms of houses, we have a few in Davao, we have a few in Pampanga, we have a few land as well. I'm not saying they're inexpensive places. They're just in strategic areas. So I don't subscribe to buy an expensive house somewhere or buy an expensive land somewhere. I that's not, because I'm not doing that because I'm trying to impress other people. What I'm trying to do is just have enough so that when I retire, I have a place to live at, or if I want, I can rent out those places. But no one taught me this. You made a lot of, so the challenge was, makalulo ka, gawa kang pera. May gawa kang pera. Ngayon, yung marakal na kapera, mo balo na nung gawan mo.
Opo.
So, magkape ka, sali kang bag, sali kang saken, sali kang, all liabilities, no assets. Sasabihan na nitang, kaya mo, di ba, itang guest mo last week?
Miss Melanie.
If you count all of these things, you can buy a house. You have 7,000 pesos, go to Pag-ibig, buy your own house. Maybe that's a challenge you should take on. And if you were my niece or my nephew, I would give you the same advice. Actually, because I told them this already during my vacation. Never, you should always, even if your parents don't kick you out of the house, kick yourself out of the house. Go. You learn, otherwise you're just a toddler, right? Forever.
Yes,
grow up.
You know, Miss Toni,
how do you grow?
Keng scenario po ngayon, karin ko rin na-realize na, kalupan nga banggi ko nandun na, King It's a Girl thing, we're making connections. And through the identities of other people, kari ko rin po mani ko ang idea on how to build more of my identity. And naning mas pilinan ko, itabang branding na makanini ko mo bure, or itang something na maging core at the core ko, like, kunwari po rin nga pupulot ko, kaya kayo, di ba, na gamit ko laking beko, and karin may akiting value na ning identity mo, na gamit mo personally, professionally, and even as you grow older, pompo kitang ayo, pili na may tang identity na may kidignidad ka, ang ganento muwa ka. Ito pong makanida.
Yes. And also, V, so in identity ko as a stingy person, that's who I am, because I'd like to have dignity when I retire, right? I pray to God that all this hard work that I'm doing, actually, the fruit of that labor, of decades of labor, is that I can live a simple, independent life with my husband when we retire, so that our kids can soar and do what they want without having to think, what will my parents, how can I do this? Can I do it? My generation is a sandwich generation. I take care of my kids. We take care of our kids. We take care of our parents.
Okay.
And sometimes we take care of our cousins, our siblings, our neighbors. And then what's left? So and then we wonder why my generation most likely will not be able to own a house and will not be able to retire with dignity, because we're so busy taking care of everybody else except ourselves, which is not healthy. It's toxic, right? Now, if I go back, you were saying, like, do I choose between identity and branding? Please don't. Just make them the same. For example, I travel often, right? And I actually just came back from Riyadh a few days ago. So every now and then, I'd have to travel for client meetings and stuff like that, although I'm based in Dubai. It's part of my contract to make sure, because I have a lot of experience as I go to the sites and I say, okay, guys, do this better, do that better. And on top of that, I also have a commercial hat. So I meet clients, I check them. So I travel often. And when I see myself very different, because when I travel with the same group of people, senior leaderships, we're all senior management, right? And the first thing that some of them would say is, can you make sure that you get this type of, for example, can you get me on British Airways for a direct flight? And can you get me on a 5-star hotel here in Riyadh? Very different from my take, which would be, I just need a quick turnaround flight. I want to be in at 7 in the morning, out at 7 in the evening, because I want to sleep in my house where my kids are, and get me the cheapest hotel and the cheapest flight you can have. Because my approach to other people's money is exactly what my approach is of my money.
Yeah.
Nung kuripot ko kang pera ko, mas kuripot ko kang pera din ng aring mong tao kasi eriyak ako ito.
True.
And reason why I find it so interesting that datang nepo baby. So I'm not saying who they are, but in the concept of having a nepo baby is so ridiculous. Kasi you should be more careful as stewards of other people's graces.
Yes, harder.
So for example, if I bought an iPhone, you bet I would take care of it. Like, for example, I have an iPhone 11 Pro Max from COVID time, and it still perfectly works until today. Because I worked so hard to get it, I will make sure it lasts. I will treasure it. But I do also have gifts from my friends, which I care more of.
Yes.
Because I want to be a good steward of somebody else's grace. It's a coffee that they did not have. It's a shoe that they did not buy. It's a whatever that they let go so they can gift me this. The smallest means that I can show them gratitude is to take care and be a good steward of what they've shared to me. Doesn't matter what it is. Money, jewelry, a piece of paper, a pen, a pants. It doesn't matter. If it's a gift from someone else, you need to be a good steward and take care of it, because that person sacrificed something in his or her life just to be able to give you that. So for me, when they ask me, what do you give someone who already has everything she wants? Prayers. Pray for me. Right? But if you do give me something, I will treasure the gift, not because I can't afford to buy it, but because I appreciate the time and effort you take to think of me, the amount of sacrifice, self-sacrifice you set aside, the money you set aside. It may be a small portion, or maybe muraya mo. But if you give me something, I'm not treasuring it because of the monetary value. I'm treasuring it because I know you thought of me.
Yes.
And I know that you sacrificed something that you wanted for yourself just to be able to share this with me. So ideally, your identity and your branding should be the same. But we are, at least the new generation, subscribe to lifestyle which is not congruent to their,
Congruent to the identity. Opo.
it's weird. Like in your case, V, I mean, what's your opinion on this Nepo baby stuff? Like, if we talk about identities and branding.
Ay, Miss Toni, nga sabi ko mo po, wapaila kasi kanda pulob, nagawa ning makanyang bagay na kabang akakita mo na ring aliwang tao, even if they have the means na gawan nito, alida po gagawan. Ito bang, Miss Toni, makanano da pong pipilinan na maging makanita?
Yeah.
Kabang makanini po yung malilyari karing aliwang tao, or like in the country in general. So bala mo po ken mawawala, or eta mo kakit, makanano ya talaga yung identity da as a person, or yapi na yan yung pipili na the same na po ba yung branding nga akakita mo karela, king identity da, king sarili da.
Based on my limited experience, I'm not that old, I'm not that young. So when it comes to branding, there will be pressure of being someone you're not, right? But
Yes, opo.
early on my career, I realized makapagal. Like if I don't,
Dreaming.
like I have an opinion and I'm not gonna say anything. It's so tiring to keep it in.
Makadream
Ako
po ito.
magsalita. I don't offend that. So that I don't offend that person, I'm not gonna say something. And actually, until recently, I had issues that I could not speak about. I could not bring myself to say what I really wanted to say in my heart for fear of offending people. So I kept this in my heart for more than 2 decades. Because I said, if I'm going to say this, I'm going to offend them and they're going to turn away from me and they will never speak to me again. And then I realized, sagli mo, why is the burden all on me? Right?
Opo.
I am not going to keep bringing someone else's luggage because they should for themselves. So in concern ko was I'm lifting this part for more than 2 decades. Maybe it's time for me to unload a little bit. And my fear was, because I was known as a very generous and kind person, if I say something, they will turn away and they won't accept me anymore because they say, pero, like, you've always done this for us.
Yeah.
So why are you complaining? And I thought, you know what? If my friends, if this group of people love me, probably they would understand that I've been holding on to this for the past 2 decades, and they will now take the load on so that I can breathe a little bit better. And I think that's also, when I was the last award I got, sabi ko, this is for my tribe. And that's necessarily your family, right? Your family may not see eye to eye with you.
Yeah.
They may share the same principles, but they may not have the same lifestyle. They may not subscribe to the same way of living as you. So they may be your family, but you may have other people in the tribe, right? So that may be the same or may not be the same. But the one thing is, if you have a good tribe behind you, they will accept you for who you are. Those are your people. Find them. And so you can be true to yourself. Otherwise, makapagal. It's so dishonest. This is who you are. And I'm not saying, balo mong marok tao gali. Pero, try to be the best version of yourself. Then find the tribe that will help you become the best version of yourself. Honestly. And, in the corporate world, the best compliment I've ever received was when one of the managers said, I grew up in this company for the past 15 years with Toni. Toni has been Toni from day one until now.
Consistent.
And that's when, it's a confirmation to myself that my identity and my branding, I've kept it consistent. I was the only person bringing a lunch box to executive committee meetings.
Okay.
You understand? Okay, so you have the chief executive officer, the chief commercial officer, the chief finance officer, the heads, and I was chief commercial officer. I would bring my own lunch because I don't want the company to pay for my lunch. If the company didn't bring lunch and there's a team meeting, I will pack fruits for the people to eat. But I will not reimburse it because I'm careful with my money, but I'm more careful with other people's money. I don't have like, like I'm not a billionaire and I'm not, someone who can go and take a Learjet 45. That's not my lifestyle. I come from a middle class family that's hardworking. But I'm comfortable with the life I have. I don't want to have a Nepo baby lifestyle, but I just want to have a different life that is that has integrity. I am spending the money I earned. I am not asking someone else to send me the money and spend it on coffee. I'm not asking someone else to send me the money and I take a Learjet 45. I'm stealing from Kaban ng Bayan. Ngeni, maandiluta mo kayong flood kasi alam mo gagawa rin ghost projects. And then I go and have a holiday with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of life I have. And as you can see here, your branding could be, I'm a jet setter, but your real reality is, I'm a dishonest person who's been stealing hard-earned taxes from the Filipino people.
Miss Toni.
Very different.
Amen po karega ka sinabi yo. And baliyo po, nano pang apulot ko, puwera king consistency, impe ka kailangan talaga para king kakatamong identity is authenticity. Authenticity po. Alang makasambot ka rin. Once you find yourself being authentic, being very genuine, mag-align nyo nung makanano, may kilaling sarili mo, and how you present yourself to the people, and then be consistent about it. And then the right people will see through you, will see itang buong effort mo para i-build yung identity mo. Di ba po?
And V, when you build your identity, be ready that some of your friends will turn away from you. Some relatives will not like you. And maybe your siblings and your parents, for a time, will not speak to you. Because they have assigned you a specific role that you should play. And when you're no longer comfortable with it, they find that discomforting. You may feel at that point in time not to be honest with yourself and change so you can be accepted. But you cannot have everybody approve of you. It's just not possible.
Yes.
And mapagal ka. So understand who you want to be, the best version of yourself. The best attitude you can have, the best work ethics you can have. For example, I'm always the hardest working person in the room. Call me, if you're my workmate, call me at any point in time and I will answer the phone. I will always be there to help you. I will always be there to support you. And I will consistently do that. Whether we're still colleagues or no longer colleagues, I will still help you because that is my identity. And my identity has become part of my brand. So when I think I mentioned this before. I visited my old employer when they bought the company I moved to. And then I was introduced. I said hi to my old boss who was heading the global services for medical and security assistance. Tapos security director was there. Tapos sabi na, oh, Toni, oh my gosh, you're here, hello. Hug, kiss. Tapos sabi nitang security director, sorry, the Toni? It's like, I don't know what you mean. The Toni. Toni, a legend there. You started at entry-level position and ended up at the managing a division on your own. So, yeah, with hard work. Yeah. And knowing that I'm taller than I'm Filipina, everybody knows I have to work 100 times, or if not 10 times more, right?
Opo.
So what I'm trying to say is, it would be more comfortable, more honest, less tiring if you focus on your identity and who you really are inside and outside of your house, And then that becomes your brand. Because then you don't have to think, how am I going to treat this person? How am I going to do this? How am I going to say this? You just be yourself irrespective. And one time we were having dinner with colleagues and they invited the spouses. So my husband was sat beside me. Kaya na itang metong colleague. His Sudanese is British. His name is Hatham. Very sweet guy. I mean, Omar, Toni, is something wrong with her? Sabi na, what? Sorry? I mean, is she really this kind? Because sometimes it's irritating. Like, some department heads will come to us stumping and they'll be like, all furious, throwing their toys around. And Toni will just calmly say, saan kayong PA ko? You know, like, Charisse, can you get us a cup of coffee? Can we have a seat? And then I'd calm that person down. Sabi ng husband ko, if Toni is kind to you, you're just her co-worker. Imagine how I'm her husband. She's supposed to live with me forever. So, like, people think outside is better than your personality inside, right? My objective for my husband and my kids to appreciate me more than other people outside of the house. They are my priority. My kids and my husband, as you know, and it's in the Bible, right? As soon as you have your kids, your husband the man leaves his family and builds his own house with his wife, etc. And then the wife submits to the husband, etc. So it's biblical that you need to prioritize once you have your own family, your husband and your kids. My priority is for my husband and my kids to love me more than other people. If my son has, classic example. My son is going for a prom, right? It's same day. I'm supposed to get the Gawad Husay at Saysay Award from Saints Co. Exactly the same day. So I asked my two trusted females in my family, Ruth and my mom, to go, and Ate Mai as well, by default because she's there in Saints Co, to go and get the award for me. Because they represent me, I feel they are my tribe.
Yes.
Because I cannot accept that award and miss my son's prom. So this is the type of honesty. So for me, it was never, am I gonna miss my son's prom? Or am I gonna get the award? My family is very important to me. It's a no, and for me, it's a no-go if you ask me to choose, right?
No,
so, because I know my identity, and even my PA was like, okay, ma'am, yung awarding mo ngayong itong araw na to, yung anak mo magpo-prom, so sinong kukuha ng award? She already knows I wasn't going because it was my son's prom. So it's this. Again, nobody's perfect. We will always make mistakes. Along the way, as we build our identities, we will offend people. But as long as you're true to yourself and you have this compass, and as Catholics, the Bible is our compass. As long as you're within that, you know that if you offend somebody, you can always apologize, but you know that you haven't done anything wrong because you live your life based on God's words. And if some people will not understand you, people will not understand you. When I sold my jewelries, when I sold my Louis Vuitton, my Chanel, my Hermes bags to save for my son's college, when I sold my Pathfinder and drove a 10-year-old pink Honda Jazz, my friends didn't understand. Toni, what's happening? Because they don't want to hang out with someone who drives a 10-year-old Honda Jazz or who doesn't have huge jewelries or who doesn't subscribe to the lifestyle. And I realized, oh, sorry, guys, that means you're not part of my tribe.
Miss Toni,
because
really about knowing yourself and staying true to yourself kasi that's already the edge, our edge po na as a person. And I think the strongest brand is always our authenticity, king kaya katamong identity. Na po,
Know your values, highlight your strengths, and let your true self shine. And if you do that, that becomes your identity. You don't need to worry about your branding because it will follow.
It will follow. Bal mo, Miss Toni, ko po balo nung manyad ko pang one big tip kaya kayo bayo tayo lalakon din kaya katamong friends. Pero karakal ko na po, karakal ko na bitbitan kay ba't na ning episode ay ni. Pero atin ta pa po metong mitataga na kanta. Pakiramdaman tayo po itakabalik tamo, Miss Toni. Please prepare your biggest tip para po kaya kaming mag-adulting, especially the girls out there, makanano lang magstay true to their selves na alida kailangan mamili between brand and identity. Na ito po kaya mag-break tapang pumpasibayo at pakiramdaman ni Meto nga kanta, magbalik ya po It's a Girl Thing. Magbalik ya po It's a Girl Thing. Kaya bayo pa mo rin po and with us via Zoom, Miss Toni, para po king kakatamong kwentuhang Adulting 201 brand and being. At kalupa na po ng dimdam tamong kanta, just be true to who you are. Kaya pasalamatan ko pa ang pureng kang friends tamo may kabe kening live tamo na hopefully you are staying to who you are. Hello po kan Joey Perez, Catherine Beronilla, Daves Angeles Siambao, Ron Evangelista Roque, Nino Galvan, Teresita Simbulan, Marlon Bondok, Hedburn Waynardo, Miss Weng Sibal, hello po Tito Weng. Hello din kay Princess Marie Sandoval, kay Fritz Sigrid Payawal, and Ate Hana Gumabon. Hello din po as well kina Maymay, Argel Sabal, Marlin Manalili, Anita Lopez, Jaylin Reyes, Gina Magtalas, Fe Andrade, and Janward Haushan. Maraming salamat po sa pagsubaybay dito sa ating It's a Girl Thing. And Miss Toni, kalupa na po ning binggi ko nandin na ano po ay biyayo pang one last tip na dapat dakalingwan ding kalupa kong mag-adulting, especially the girls out there, para alila kumbaga malili o mawala king self the kabang bubuan de po ning identity or kabang makasabeya itang kumbaga isipan dang branding na dapat na image da karing aliwang tao.
At the end of the day, your career and your brand are important, right? But never let that erase the real you. Build your skills, polish how you present yourself, and be professional. But always remember your values, the principles. These are the things that make you unique. So please don't lose yourself in the process, because the strongest brand you can ever carry is your authentic self, because then you become consistent.
Yes, Miss Tori. Very warm ya po yung pangasabi yo, pero at the same time, sobra ya kabayat ito na dapat ming tandanan na the only thing we need is to stay authentic and of course to be consistent, and the rest will follow suit. Gusto ko po. Super thank you, Miss Toni Karakal. Hopefully, definitely, aliwa mo po yako ing marakal na naman abalo. Pero syempre, yako, feeling ko marakal na ako na naman pundiling realize regarding king kakong branding and identity. At impekaburi ko po. Kasi namamasa ko actually, Miss Toni. Bala mo, it's always a reminder na itapin po you stay true to yourself, and bala dapat maging makantaya rin ng branding. Pero it's always a personal branding versus personal identity. And king ashare po, usto kayo po, alita mo dapat mamili. You don't have to choose between brand or identity. It's always brand and identity rolled into one. Staying true to yourself is always the edge, your edge among everything, among all people. Super duper thankful ko po, Miss Toni, na kayong abe akong yaning solo flight ko today, King Studio. It's always a joy to have you here on the show. Schedule tane po yung next tamong kay Zoom meeting ulit King live tamo. It's a Girl Thing. And Miss Toni, I am always praying for your good health and ingke kayo pong family. Uling, balo naman po kailangan dako pa po King, it's a girl thing. Uling, marakal kaya pa po kailangan i-adult 201. Hanggang po kimirastan 301, 401. Pila niya po pong years in course tamo. Thank you so much, Miss Toni. And karinggaan pong kakaluguran tamo sino baybay. Hopefully marakal na ko na naman po apulot. And Miss Toni, bayo ko po pala kalingwan, bakating ko pong buring igrit pa. Hangga pong balo ko naman nino ring igrit yo. Pero syempre aliwa pa muna po na shoutout yun. Especially nga ni pong alaan ko ulit kim Pilipinas. Nino po ring try ba kailangan yung i-shoutout today?
Siyempre, salamat Macasaet families, St. Jude family, St. Scholastica, I think Bright FM family, right? Thank you so much po. Too many to mention, and very grateful for all the prayers. I can feel the prayers wherever I am, wherever I travel, wherever I go, and whatever I do. So very blessed to have so much people praying for me. Thank you so much.
And syempre po, Miss Toni, we are really, really blessed ako po personally to know you at akilala na kayo Kenny kin lifetime ko maragol ko po asasaw. Kung pwede ko po consider na kayo po metong karing mentors ko. Okay po ang tayta. Thank
I'm
you so
happy.
much po. Thank you so much, Miss Toni. Again, it's always a joy to have you here in the show. And to all the ladies out there na may kiabe po king kakatamong kwentuhan, I hope we all continue to embrace who we are and shine our light wherever we go. Sunday po bukas. It's the Feast of the Exaltation of the Cross. Eta po kakalingwang sisimba. May it be magdili-dili tamo or with our family. And I hope we brought love and light to all of you. Again, inipuing, it's a girl thing.